Greetings and salutations. If you are new to the channel, I want to thank you for stopping by. If you're not new to the channel, I want to thank you for sticking around. My name is Eric Moss. I am a modern day performing strongman, a personal trainer, and a motivational speaker. If you're unfamiliar with what a modern day performing strongman is I perform feats of strength like bending steel bars, breaking chains, twisting horseshoes, rolling up frying pans, driving nails through wooden boards by hand as part of a live show. Kind of like a modern day version of the sort of thing that the strongmen of old, like Alexander Zass and the Mighty Atom and Sigmund Breitbart used to do, but with a modern day twist. Now, being a modern day performing strongman as well as a personal trainer, I know that people have questions for me. And in an effort to preach the gospel of strength and spread my knowledge as well as develop content for my YouTube channel, I started a YouTube series where I would invite you guys to ask me questions in the comments below. And when you ask me a question in the comments below, if it's not something I've already gotten to, or if I've forgotten that I got into it already, I will create a customized video just for you to answer your question. So this question comes from, I have no idea how to pronounce that name. It looks like it's in Russian. But the question is, was you strong before your isometric training, or you developed it in the process? So, thank you for asking that question. Now, with my approach, and one of the things that I learned from some of the strongmen that have guided me over the years, is that you already have the power to lift a car off of a human being. You already have the strength, your body just doesn't know it yet. So all of my programming and my entire approach starts knowing that end in mind. And then it's strength training is just teaching your body about the strength that it already has and giving it the confidence to be able to grant you some of that power. Now, for me and my own history, I've been training for like around 20 something years. I'm 41 years old as of this past Saturday, and I started training and stuff like that when I was around 16 or so, and then I really started taking it seriously when I was like 17, 18, working out in a regular gym with weights and stuff like that. And one of the things that I found was that you'd get some of these bigger guys that would lift some dumbbells, and then they would just leave it on the floor, and when they would walk out of the room. And I'd think to myself, I'm like, I wonder if I could do that. And more often than not, I could, even though these guys were about twice my size. Now, fast forward a couple years as a personal trainer, I left the gym, and I discovered kettlebell training and the teachings of Pavel Tsatsouline. And it was through implementation of some of the things that Pavel was talking about, I gained strength pretty quickly. You know, like there was a rite of passage, so to speak, back in the day before beginning strongman training. I think it was Ed Thomas that was talking about that, Dr. Ed Thomas. And he mentioned doing a Turkish getup with 100 pounds being sort of a rite of passage. I was able to do that before I started working with my first mentor, New Jersey Superman Greg Metonic. I had also done a pull-up with 115 pounds hanging from my waist, and did bench presses with 115 pounds. This was prior to embarking on my journey of bending steel and breaking chains and all that fun stuff that comes from my shows. And so basically, to answer your question, I was strong before isometric training. Now, I started getting more into isometrics when I was already a modern day performing strongman. And part of that was because with the materials that I do, there's always variance in materials. You know, like as an example, a 100-pound dumbbell is always going to be a 100 pounds. Maybe a little more, maybe a little bit less, but there's like standards of quality that they have to abide by. So you have some similarity between them, right? Now with steel, there's variance in the material. Some steel bars are harder than others. It's just plain and simple. It's like there's a standard of strength that they have to get to, and they just make sure it's at that minimum. It doesn't really matter how far past that it goes. And with wrenches in particular, wrenches, some of them will go, some of them you can't even move with a sledgehammer, and you don't know what you're going to get until you pick it up and you try to bend it. Even with the same company, there's always going to be variance in materials. Like, as an example, I had a 2-pack of wrenches and I had a show. I bent the one, no problem. Take the other to the show, couldn't do it. I'm blacking out on stage, and that actually became one of the stories that come from the motivational speech that I now use. So isometrics, when I'm working a feat, if I can't get it, it becomes an isometric piece. And it becomes an isometric piece in a way that is very specific to the things that I do as a modern day performing strongman. And I also got more into that, into training specifically for the feats with isometrics when the live shows dried up from that pandemic. Let me show you a piece. Where did I put that thing? As an example, this is a piece of structural steel, 1 inch by 3/8 by 12 inches long. I cut this with the sole intention of using it as an isometric piece to train for like crowbars and the things that are about this size. This, I don't remember what the thickness is of this, but this for me was to train short bend so that I don't go through tons and tons of material, and I could take my short bending or unbraced short bending so I could be more reliable with my shows. Do I have other? Oh, right. This is for phone books. This is a phone book wrapped with a whole ton of duct tape for the purpose of practicing ripping it so that I don't go through tons and tons of phone books. These days, phone books just aren't that commonplace, so I'm like, I needed to find an economical way of doing this that doesn't provide a lot of garbage also. So I hope that answers your question, because like even though my name is now kind of synonymous with isometric training, that's only one aspect of my training program as a whole. But I hope that answers your question. If you guys have more questions or you need a follow-up or anything like that, drop it in the comments below and I will try to get back to you with your own customized video, even if it's someone that I've already answered before and they just need a bit more information. But that is it for today. Please stay happy, healthy, and strong, everyone. Eric Moss, over and out.